Hello and welcome to TV Chef Fantasy League. I'm your host, Commissioner Mike Cablon. With me are my co-hosts here, Kato and Ifiwadiwe.
Whoa.
How are we feeling? Let's dive right in. How are we feeling after episode 2? Because I have opinions, but I want to know if you guys have opinions.
No, not really.
Overall of show, it's
Yeah.
long,
It's
but it's still like, you know, the graphics and the kind of funny edits, like they're growing on me.
It weirdly makes it feel longer to me.
I'm
Sure.
gonna keep it buck with you. I'm gonna just come out and say it. With the Top Chef news, I'm just waiting for that.
Yes, we're all just biding our
Chef,
time.
Yeah, the Top Chef news dropped, and now I'm getting hyped with that.
Yes.
Looking at the possibilities, we've already shown each other the potential chefs. I'm sure we've been doing mock drafts in our head.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, so what Iffy is talking about, if you're listening this way in the future, or if you just don't know what we're talking about, this week Top Chef announced their contestants for the upcoming season, and the group chat was a flutter.
Oh yeah, it's lit up. My friend Kat Turner is a contestant. I don't have insider info, but I do know that, and she said they already shot everything.
Okay, so she just has to like keep that under her hat for the next like 16 weeks. She
life?
just has to be quiet.
Yeah, but she knows, you know.
That's crazy.
It should be like, I'm thinking of making my first round draft pick. Is that a good idea?
Well, all you have to do is completely tank your Worst Cooks in America season, so you get the first round pick.
Yeah. Oh, well, we'll see. I'm always going to give it 100%, even when I'm checked out of the season, because I'm thinking of the Canada. It's going to be poutine. It's going to be
It's a lot of poutine in the trailer already. It was a lot of poutine in the trailer. Oh gosh. Okay, we should save a lot of this for. Well, what we'll probably do is we'll do a bonus content episode. For our subscribers, we'll do some talent scouting. Yeah. We'll talk about their bios and stuff.
Well, I just wanted to get that out of my system.
Yeah,
but we'll save it for the BOCO. Sorry.
Nice.
I did just quickly want to say, in the trailer, there's a shot of someone chopping a cutting board in half, and I was like, oh my god,
Haven't seen that before.
Yeah,
How many points is that?
that is intense.
I know. Oh yeah.
Anyway, I'm very excited. 2 LA chefs competing this season. Okay, we'll do
yeah.
it in bonus content.
Both named Kat too.
Yeah. Is it Kate or Kat? The young Bond one?
Katiana.
Yeah. I think they both go by
Wow.
Kat because Kat said 2 cats from LA. And I said,
That makes sense.
2 cats. Have a crush on both of them. Let's go.
Horny
Get
iffy.
excited,
There
get
he is.
excited.
Look. That's just normal pining. It isn't horny yet.
Okay, baseline.
That's a
It will
yeah,
be.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, it's gonna be horny. Okay. What I was going to say about the edit of Worst Cooks in America is that this is what I try and explain to people when they complain about movies being too long. I'm like, a movie is allowed to be long if it earns it. If it doesn't feel long, then it's fine.
Yeah.
Some movies are short and they feel long.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like that's Worst Cooks in America, where I'm like, on paper it's an hour, but I'm like,
Right.
Yeah.
Even, the fact that it is an hour too, it is like 61 minutes.
Yeah.
Right?
It's a
not
full,
like
juicy
48.
hour. Yeah.
So that is a lot. The edits for me, I'm like, if you removed all the edits, it'd be like 25 minutes. But also, some of the edits, if there's one good edit, and there was one in this one, I'm like, you earned it. I sat through it all because of that one. That was pretty good.
I said this in the last week, but like I admire the editors of this show. They are funny. It is its own skill.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of work.
But I'm already kind of exhausted by the show. Yeah. And you know what? We made our bed. We got a lot.
Yeah, and it's funny because if you listen to the previous episode, it really seems like we were trying our hardest to love it, and now we're here. I did forget to mention my buddy did get back to me who competed on it.
Oh,
he
right.
said it was real and Bobby Flay rules. He taught us real techniques between shooting setups. The antics came when we would turn on a burner in front of us and it would ignite the burner at the other end of the stove. Plus we suck at cooking, so letting us try was hilarious.
Oh, interesting. Do you think that's intentional and deliberate? Like they?
Oh, that's my guess. That's my read. He might not be saying that, but that's my read of it.
Sure.
They throw a couple obstacles in there.
Yeah.
Right, because they just know it'll make wackier television.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
what this show needs, more wackiness.
It's sorely lacking in wackiness.
Yeah.
I do appreciate that he's like, Bobby Flay does teach us how to cook.
Yeah.
Because that does seem, I'll say who it happens the most with. I can see it in Tiffany the most, where like she genuinely seems to be like excited to be learning. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's like she's treating this like it's a free class.
Yeah.
And I really like that. I'm like, I should have drafted Tiffany because I think she's got the staying power to make it to the end.
Yeah.
But she's
She
like,
wants to be good at it.
yeah. That's why she cried last week. You know what I mean? In the first episode, because it's
It
like,
means a lot.
yeah, these are like real stakes for her.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, look, we got another 6 weeks of this, so
Sure.
we
yeah,
gotta just strap in.
It'll
Yeah,
be
buckle
good. We'll
up,
do
y'all.
a couple, 2 episodes at a time. Just kidding.
All right, let's start with the team/relay challenge. We open on Antonia and Jeff in their stupid superhero costumes. That's the kind of thing that makes it feel exhausting. It's not even. It's just that like it has the energy of like your coworkers put on a skit. Do you know what I mean?
Oof. Yeah, that's tough. I guess because it's like they're kind of they are good, the hosts, but
They're amazing.
But they are the least maybe hosty of everybody. I mean, everybody's like such a personality.
Yeah.
So sometimes when they go above, it's like a little like, oh, leave this to the professionals. You've got a room full of those guys.
Yeah. I don't begrudge anyone working on the show for like not doing a good job. I think everyone's firing on all cylinders.
Amazing.
I think if anyone, it's just that like it's not even anyone's fault. It's just that like the aim of the show is to be background TV. Do you know what I mean? It's designed to be played in a dentist's office.
Oh yeah, and I think there is like, you know, we talk about like the different sheen of different networks, right?
Yeah.
How like, you know, Top Chef being on what is it, E?
Bravo.
Bravo. You know, kind of having that kind of element of like realness with it, and Fox, you know, when we were doing, you know, MasterChef, having the foxiness. And I feel like Food Network always is way campier than it needs to be. Like there's a level of camp that I think works for a lot of Food Network shows. And I think when they transition to competition Food Network, then you have, you know, reality TV stars who are already, you know, playing it so high. I think that they would get more mileage if they try to ground everything outside of the reality star, since they're already kind of raising the camp level.
I agree with you. But I do feel like now we're sort of trudging into like, why doesn't MTV play music videos anymore territory? Do you know what I mean? Where I'm like, well, MTV stopped playing music videos. People stopped watching music videos.
Yeah.
Like Food Network used to be this amazing place where like if you were a talented and affable chef, you could have your own show and make your own brand. And now it has turned into, it kind of feels like every show is kind of like this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know at what point that happened, but it happened because that's, I guess, what got them ratings.
Yeah, but there's like an element of it that I think works. Like, you know, everyone was suggesting us doing guys like tournament.
Oh, right.
And then the
yeah.
chefs kind of ham it up and ham the competition, and that works. I watched that. That's a good experience. I think it's the classic comedy term hat on a hat, where I think I'd be curious to watch it with regular
Normal
people
yeah.
and see how the show drives versus putting like you know, Frankie Grande in there with, you know, Alaska Thunderfuck, you know, like,
it's wacky people in a wacky situation.
I think I mixed up my drag queens.
Trinity the Tuck.
Trinity the Tuck.
But yes,
sorry, Trinity.
I do think, interesting.
That's what you get for not following back, even though you came on. I'm actually.
Whoa!
I'm putting it out.
Didn't
there.
realize there was beef to be had.
There isn't beef, kinda. You know.
Okay.
You know, none of them.
No?
None of them. Jujubee, Monet Exchange. Even though I expected Monet Exchange not to follow me, like Monet has that energy where it's like, you ain't gonna get a follow back. But
I kind of have this in both directions. Sometimes I'll work with someone and I'm like, why didn't you follow me back?
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm like, why did you follow me?
I wonder if that's what they're thinking
we
about
have
me.
two lines of interaction. That didn't necessitate an online friendship.
Yeah, I feel like that is
Be too much.
that is peak, like you did like a guest star on the stuff, and you like made friend with you know, maybe one of the, you know, background actors, and they're like a get-go scrappy act.
Right, yeah.
They hit you with that follow.
A lot of those.
And I know we're all being nice here on the pod.
Yeah, I don't want to name names,
No,
but people be weird.
Sure, sometimes you're like, huh, why am I following this like Spider-Man person? And then it's like, oh, that's who that was. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yes, I follow Spider-Man.
Which Spider-Man?
Not
Name them.
No, just like a person who likes to dress up as Spider-Man on their Instagram.
Oh, I thought you meant literally one of the Spider-Men.
No. Yeah. I mean, no, I would follow a Spider-Man, I guess, a real one. But
there's
be Spider-Man.
I don't know how to say this anonymously. Okay, there's a famous, primarily known for Disney actor.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
Who's been to my house.
Oh.
And on a separate occasion, we have been to a concert together.
Okay.
That me and our mutual friend took this person too.
Mm-hmm.
Still doesn't follow me back.
Wow.
That seems a little personal,
Right?
A little deliberate. I mean,
Thank
because I was
you.
kind of thinking with sometimes with these
Wait,
really big. Oh yeah, just like they might have a service or something
Yeah.
that's manning their account.
Yeah,
That's what I say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really, really big.
If it was
social media
someone-
stars? Uh-huh.
Okay, like I was on a show with Ted Danson. Ted Danson, I know for a fact, does not do his own social media.
Yeah.
You know what I
Sure.
mean? He's
That
simply
would
too
make
old. So I'm
sense.
like,
Uh-huh.
whatever
Too
happens.
old.
Well,
Yeah,
like
that's
he
true.
talks about it. He's like, I don't know how to use this. I don't care.
Yeah.
Right. Why
So I
would
feel
he?
like whatever happens between us on social media, I'm like, that is an intern. I
Sure.
do not take offense to that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But this is like a young person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Someone who is active on social media, and I'm like,
I want to know.
what did I do wrong to
Yeah.
you?
I know. Yeah.
Interesting.
Very.
Maybe they think it's too far gone because I definitely have this where it's like I know that person too long, and now if I follow them, it's going to alert them.
It's gonna pop
and then
up
they're
on their
gonna
phone.
realize I
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
following them
Oh,
for
no.
this long, and I meant to follow them the beginning, but then now it's too late, and now I don't know what to do.
No, I'll do it. I will
Do the late
that-
follow?
Do the late follow
Okay.
because
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
better than getting that out the way than like I remember a friend was saying that they were at a con and they were trying to like see if they follow each other, and they pulled up their page, their Twitter, and it was like, you know how when you mute someone it says that.
Oh, that's even
Yeah,
worse.
yeah, and they had that, and they
That's great.
and they were like, yeah, we just kind of like it was like okay, and didn't even acknowledge it,
Oh.
and who
Wow.
That's a tough one, but
Yeah.
you got to respect it because you got to respect the mute. You know,
Yeah.
you got to protect your energy.
Yeah, you know
protect
what?
Your energy.
You have to start. If someone mutes you, you got to just like question yourself. That's
yeah.
a chance for self-reflection to be
Oh,
like,
yeah.
what am I doing wrong?
definitely.
Oh, brutal.
Because
Yeah,
the problem is you.
that's true.
All right. Look, the
good.
stars, they're
Solved
just
it.
like us. They're following and unfollowing and blocking us, just like everyone else.
Hell yeah.
The Team Relay Challenge was Culinary Avengers, a head-to-head challenge in 30 minutes. Okay, I wrote this down because as I was watching this, I was like, there is no fucking way this all happened within 30 minutes. No. They laid out the challenge. They're like, here's the 5 things you have to do in 30 minutes. And I was like, oh, all at the same time, right? But no, it was relay style. You had to finish one before you got to the other. And I was like, there's simply no way this was I watch a lot of reality TV.
Yeah.
I know how things are edited. This is way longer than 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
they
feel
just-
like 30 minutes is just the barometer they use for like timing, and really it's like try your best.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, no, because we've talked to contestants from like MasterChef where they're like, no, 60 minutes is 60 minutes. Like
Yeah.
that, like legally it has to be that. And this one, I'm like, they're playing for charity. It's
Yeah.
celebrities.
Yeah.
Yeah, once you take out the actual money, you get a little more leeway.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And the fact that it's like this is kind of the team challenge or whatever, I think maybe they can be a little loose on this one too,
Yeah.
specifically.
It is a team challenge, although there were some people who teamed harder than others. We'll get to it. The first part of the challenge was everyone had to juice some oranges. The villains finished first. The second part of the challenge was to make avocado toast, but the ingredients were in a vault, and the combination to the vault was in a bunch of riddles. Riddles actually kind of hard. Am I the only one who felt
Yeah.
that way?
Yeah.
I think that's the Riddle's fault a little bit. Some of them were kind of wacky.
They were
But maybe I didn't pause and like really suss it out. So
I
could
didn't
be
pause either, but
stupid.
just reading them, like the one that Tiffany guessed was blackberries, and the first line I remember was something like "orbs of night," and I was like, "Was this written by a sphinx?" Like,
Orbs. Nice.
Yeah. This intern or whatever is going too hard.
when
Yeah.
you say riddle, I think in my brain, I'm like, oh, like the kind you find on a popsicle stick. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I think Sierra's on the money. The person who was in charge of writing them out definitely has a D&D campaign and was still in that brain. It was
Hey.
like, orbs of night.
They've been training for this their whole lives.
Okay, on the heroes side, this was Sebastian and Trinity. We mentioned this last week. I finally did catch Sebastian Bach is wearing a Sebastian Bach t-shirt, which I think is very funny.
No, I didn't.
It says Sebastian Bach and has his face on it. It's
Okay,
a real
specific.
Wow,
Hell yeah.
Steve Holt energy.
Yeah. Exactly. Trinity says she has never tasted avocado, which is statistically improbable to me.
Trinity, so funny.
There's no way you step foot in California.
Exactly.
And
They
I
hand
didn't
you one at
have-
the airport when you
They
land.
sneak it in every dish. There's no. You don't eat sushi. You don't eat sushi.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
She does have like a running gag this episode of being grossed out by like everything.
Yes.
So I wonder if that was like, let's just do whatever. Pick one that like
Pick-
people
yeah,
are gonna
exactly.
be, mushy kind of, that's kind
Yeah.
of gross. But yeah, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, seems like really out there that you wouldn't have ever encountered
That's
that.
how I feel.
Yeah.
Sometimes people are like, I've never seen this movie. And I'm like, sure, I get it. And sometimes people are like, I've never seen, I don't know, any of the Star Warses. And I'm like, how?
Worked for it.
Yeah, really had to avert your eyes.
Yeah. I'm like, you've never walked into a room and your roommate was just watching Star Wars? Like,
Yeah.
you've consumed it somehow.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, to your point, Trinity does get a lot of marks for being freaked out by an ingredient this episode. But as we have said,
so
you only
much.
get 1 point instance per episode. So she loses a half point first for being freaked out by avocado. There will be others.
Right.
Over
At
on the-
least she tried it and was like, it's pretty good.
Yes,
right? Okay.
yeah. Which
that's
is,
good.
I
It's
almost
better
want to
than nothing.
reverse it, but
It doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter.
doesn't matter.
Yeah. On the villain side, Wes and Tiffany did the avocado toast. I'm already kind of bored with Wes. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's on my team. I want to
Yeah.
like him.
Yeah,
But,
he's
like,
very good.
yeah, Wes's whole villainry is really not as, once again, I keep bringing up Johnny Bananas from Traitors
Sure.
and House of Villains, where Johnny Bananas is good at it because he's a mouthpiece. Are you laughing because his name is Johnny Bananas?
No, I've seen him, but I also picture, yes, that, and then the whole, he does like the 3-piece suit thing.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a whole thing.
Yeah, he's a whole like cartoonish, like he's playing the game. Where Wes is, his thing was, he just kind of was an asshole, but he was also really good at the game. So
Yeah.
that's where he got his villainship from.
He's like villain by default.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 But like, and also like as he got older, he kind of realized, and he's become more chill. So I feel like this was just something that might have been fun, but he's not.
His heart's not in it.
Yeah, his heart's not.
Yeah, I wish he had like a team of writers giving him better zingers. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Oh, yeah.
Because I think everyone else can kind of like do these one-liners, and kind of the only bullet in his chamber is being a ginger.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Right. And he's a little too normal. And then they keep, they're playing him up as like the muscles guy. But
Sure.
I'm like, yeah, I mean,
That only gets you so.
yeah,
Bartiz
it's
is also
like,
strong.
I know, yeah. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like, okay, I guess so. But yeah, it doesn't really, and as I've mentioned before, he hasn't also shined that much on Traitors. He had a little bit of a moment this last episode. I don't want to spoil for anyone out there.
Oh, he's
but,
in the Wes is in the new
yeah,
season.
yes.
Oh.
But even still, like I wasn't
Yeah.
super. He
Like I
doesn't
said,
stand out in any
Bananas
major
is the
way.
mouthpiece. Wes is kind of, and it was great because Wes and Bananas hated each other, and it was kind of that thing where, like, Wes I think knew how to get under Bananas' skin, and Bananas was like who he is, so he would do the most of the zinging,
Right,
and Wes would
right.
be coming back. But now it is becoming clear like who is more of the character.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what I'm not here to judge Wes as a person, and again, I hope he gains me a ton of points. But
Yeah,
just
seems
as like
great.
a character, I'm like,
Getting outshined, I think.
yeah. Going back to like comedy basics, they say you can hit a beat 3 times before the end of the scene. He hits Ginger way more than 3 times in a scene. Do you know what I mean?
Oh no,
Yeah.
yeah.
Kind of the only
mean-
thing in his arsenal.
You could take a class,
He could.
UCP
Look, they'll
That's
teach you
all
the
I got.
basics.
Zip
Yeah.
zap zop.
101. Padma.
We'll be your coaches.
Yeah. Also, you mentioned it, so we got to take a Padma sidebar.
Okay.
We're aware how horny she's being on social media, right?
Oh, no.
Did you see the one where she was talking about licking her fingers?
No, but I
And-
got to follow her, right?
Oh yeah, like someone like it was like another comedian friend was like, "Hey, I'm just seeing this. Is it like this over here all the time?" And someone commented, "Yeah, she does it from
Over
time to
here all
time."
the-
He's like, "Great, I'm following."
Yeah.
It's like truly wild. Where I'm like, Padma, what's going on here? Did you go to the iffy class of improv? Because it was like so OD. Where I'm like, yeah, it's this one.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
I know that for
Doing a
this is an
little
audio
cooking.
medium, so we should
Yeah.
be narrating what's
Yeah,
happening.
yeah.
But it's a
So
cooking
she's looking
video.
I'm just making sure. No, I don't think it's that one. It's one where she's
This is the
like,
horny part.
yeah. It's
Okay,
one where
skip
she
ahead.
keeps talking about like, yeah, favorite way to eat
Oh.
from.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
so
the
she-
finger. Sure,
Oh,
sure.
okay. That yeah. I go in and out of following her. She's actually one of my most like followed and unfollowed.
Oh, yeah.
Because I remember one time she was like, I'm announcing a new project tomorrow, and I got really excited. And then it ended up being, I can't remember if it was like a shapewear line
Yeah,
or something like that. And I actually kind of became disinterested. I was like, I'm not the target market for this. I don't care. I don't follow.
Right.
And then I read something in like the trades, and I was like, oh, she's probably working on something cool. And I followed her again. And I kind of
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I feel like okay. I mean, big moment for her was leaving Top Chef, and like she's gonna do comedy now. Like I feel like she's at this pivotal point, so maybe she's like just trying on different vibes.
And I love that for her.
Maybe she's gonna do some horny comedy. Maybe she's gonna do some more Top Chef type stuff. Who
She's
knows?
gonna start doing Comedy Central roasts.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's gonna be the next Nikki Glazer.
Yeah.
Yeah. She
ready.
could be
I'm
great
ready
on that.
for it.
So do some Food Network roasts or some Bravo.
Oh my
roasts.
gosh, the Food Network roast.
Gotta do.
That would
Come
be tight.
on.
That would be whoever
So many
is
options.
listening. That's where the Food Network roast, I think, would be very fun.
We gotta
Easy.
pitch this to someone.
Easy.
That's so
Easy
good.
money.
And like the whole time in the background, two chefs are actually making a roast.
Definitely.
Yeah.
No,
Uh,
perfect.
like, and
there
they're
you
just
go.
talking
That
about
just
it,
sold
yeah.
it right there. I
That's it. That's what makes Food Network buy it. It's
Yeah.
because there's an educational
Sure.
component. Learn how to
Sure.
make a roast.
think. We know you love that.
Okay, Wes and Tiffany doing the avocado toast. Tiffany says she's never had avocado toast before, which made me think, Tiffany, why did you do this part of the challenge? There are 4 other parts of the challenge. You could make any of the other parts.
Because I feel like on paper it seems very easy, right? You get avocado,
Avocado.
put it on the toast.
Yeah.
Avocado
Sure.
toast.
It's in the name.
And
Yeah.
she's, open to learning.
As we will get to, she ends up doing all the other challenges anyway. Here I wrote, Tiffany loves opening things with her teeth. This is the
Oh
first
my
of 2
gosh.
times she does it in this
Oh my
episode.
She has
gosh.
strong teeth. she says.
Terrifying. Yeah, exactly. Was it she knows how to bite or something like that?
Oh, she's
like,
a
I'm
villain.
a villain.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like, okay, there's, she's tying in the themes.
Yeah.
The villains open their safe first, but the recipe has some red herring ingredients. Very convoluted challenge. That's, to your point, hat on a hat. I'm like,
Yeah.
there didn't need to also be fake ingredients in the recipe.
Yeah.
Safe,
Especially when they're already bad at cooking.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
can use real
Right.
ingredients. They're going to fuck it up.
Yeah. The third challenge was to make a green smoothie bowl, but the catch was they had to use a bike to blend it. The bike was the blender. The blender was the bike. Once again, for the villains, Bartice and Tiffany. Tiffany does almost all the challenges. I truly don't know why. Bartice peels a kiwi with his bare hands,
Oh,
which
no.
is insane. And they originally try and blend it without any liquid in it. Over on the hero side, Adam and Frankie. Adam cuts mustard greens, not kale. Frankie's the first one to make it to the blender bike. We learned that Frankie has biked from San Francisco to Los Angeles twice,
Wow.
which is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, what is that?
Yeah. Why are you doing that?
I would love to find out that it was just for funsies.
Yeah.
Not for charity.
Yeah.
Sure.
Just wanna get those
Just wanted
bike
to see
lanes.
see the one
Make
freeway.
Make a name for himself.
Pacific Coast
outside of
Highway.
his history.
On the way to putting the plate on the table, Adam spills some of the smoothie bowl on the ground, so that is a half point for something touching the ground. The fourth challenge is to make a spinach salad, but the ingredients are in a web net thing. It was a weird.
Oh, yeah.
It was a weird
poking the
challenge.
thing.
Yeah.
Once again,
What is
they're already
that?
bad at cooking.
Yeah. We don't need to
Right.
make them do wacky
it would be
things.
it would be like if it was like, oh, these people are bad at swimming, and we're gonna add bricks to their life jackets. You know?
Yeah.
Right. Jeesh.
Okay. So the heroes, Sebastian and Cheryl, or as Jeff Morrow calls them, Robin and Robin, 2 sidekicks with no leader. They hit all the ingredients out of their web net thing, and they all hit the ground. So I'm going to give them both a half point.
Okay.
This probably happened on the other team, but the edit really focused on these 2. Like, we saw the ingredients on the ground. Jeff comments on it. So I'm going to give the half point to Sebastian and Cheryl for that.
Okay.
Cheryl thought the pomegranate was an onion because she's never opened a pomegranate. And Sebastian Bach tossed a salad with his bare hands. Over on the villain side, Bartice and Tiffany again. Where is Corinne during all this? Rachel's going to step in for the last one. Corinne didn't participate at all.
Huh.
I
don't know.
I'm mystified. Anyway, Tiffany gives us her vinaigrette recipe, which is a big dollop of low-fat mayo, at least 16 shakes of hot sauce, and of course, artificial sweetener, which is not a vinaigrette.
Yeah,
not
that's
at
that's
all.
an interesting combo right there.
That is gross.
Yeah. I'd say that's closer to an aioli than anything.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah, it's
mayo?
primarily
Yeah.
mayo.
Yeah.
Why the sweetener?
I guess like a sweet and spicy type thing.
Spicy vinegar.
Okay, that actually kind of justified it for me.
Yeah.
I get it. That makes sense.
But not the vinaigrette part about it.
Not wouldn't call it a
something
vinaigrette. I wrote down that Antonia teaches them a trick which I didn't know, which is hit the pomegranate with the back of a spoon.
Yeah. And then they're trying to hit it with a knife and just like chopping it. It's like, wow, let's not.
Yeah.
There's
But
so
yeah,
many
that was
things
great.
like that where I'm like, you know that SpongeBob bit where he's like, put your hand on the lid, the lid, the
Oh,
lid, and
gosh.
Patrick is putting his hand on anything except
Yeah.
for the
A
lid.
classic.
It's that happens so many times in this episode where they're like, please do A, and they go and do B, and it's like, what?
It's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. All that adrenaline pumping, and they don't know up from down.
The fifth challenge was to make a waffle, but the recipe was frozen in a block of ice. Over on the hero side, this was Adam and Trinity, which I wrote is the funniest possible combination of people to take a hammer to a block of ice.
My team.
This is again where Jeff was yelling at them desperately to do the wets separate
Oh
from
my
the
gosh,
dries.
So funny.
Didn't take.
Yeah. Keep the
Yeah.
wets for that. I know. I feel like they probably edit. Like, okay, so that's an interesting thing. Could they go back and say like he's saying wets from the dries, and that's actually something he said later after they combined it?
Sure.
Because it was really like, don't do X, don't
Yeah,
do
yeah.
X. Oops, just did it. So I don't know, but
I would believe it.
maybe they're just so frantic. Yeah, they're like,
Oh yeah.
maybe this is what happens.
Yeah, I would believe it either way. I do want to point out that there was a cutaway where Jeff explains to the audience why we separate the wets and the dries. And I was like, again, educational component. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought of that.
Very helpful. Over on the villain side, this was Wes and Rachel. So Wes, of course, breaks open the ice block, sort of blocks Trinity on the way to Trinity trying to plate. Slight villainous behavior.
Oh yeah.
I'll give him that. And then Trinity does a death drop at the end of the challenge. The
As you
final, yeah, of course. That's how I finish breakfast every morning.
Yeah.
The final score is 2-2. The villains win the avocado toast and the spinach salad. The heroes take the smoothie bowl and the waffle. I'd like to point out that the heroes lost the spinach salad challenge because they left an entire apple core in there, which is
Oh,
cartoonish.
Yeah, that was the exact words I was going to use.
Yeah.
It would the only thing that would top it is if they pulled out a single fish bone from fin to head.
oh my God, fully, intact bone.
Have you ever? I don't even know how widespread this term is. Have you ever heard the term meat bone?
No.
I've heard some animators use it. It's like, in the Flintstones when they eat meat, it's just sort of like one bone that's shaped like a femur and just like meat on
Yes.
it, like in an indiscernible shape.
Perfect.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like that cut of meat doesn't exist, but it like
Oh.
conveys to the audience. It's like a cartoon shorthand for like, this is meat. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's sort of that where it's just like anything that to me is like so over the top and cartoony. You know what I mean? But it's like, you get it.
Yeah.
So it's like when I think of like garbage and it's like, it's always an apple core
Yeah.
and that single fish bone.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's so perfect, right? Yeah, it's just like a shorthand for like, there. Okay, let's move on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's trash.
Apple core in the salad. That's bad. Move on.
So to break the tie, they have another obtuse trivia question. The teams nominate Frankie and Wes to answer the question, brain shaped with a hero's aim, omega-3s are their claim to fame. Wes brings up a potato, and Frankie brings a walnut. Walnut was the correct answer, so the heroes win. They each get a half point, and the super speed advantage, which means they get a 2-minute head start in the skill drill. And the skill drill is right now. 45 minutes to recreate these dishes, these mussel and sausage dishes. I have to ask about this. Val, in your notes, you wrote that you hate grill pans, and I need you to elaborate on that.
So for home use, the raised ridges give like super uneven heat distribution.
Okay.
And it makes it harder to cook a thing of meat all the way through.
Okay.
Okay.
And on competitive shows like this, you have a kitchen, just install a grill. Like, you're spending
Yeah.
the money for all of this expensive
Sure,
shit. Like,
yeah.
I see the rack full of KitchenAid stand mixers behind you.
Yeah.
Like, just give them a grill.
Okay.
This is good,
It's
yeah.
my biggest pet peeve on every cooking show.
Okay,
Interesting.
that's fair. I would argue, on other cooking shows, I would agree. I would argue that on this cooking show, because there is such a large component that is like, here's how you can do this at home, and a lot of people don't have access to a grill because they live in an apartment, they don't have outdoor space, whatever. Grill pan, perfectly reasonable substitution.
Right, of course. It's definitely like me just kind of on my high horse about things, but it's still I don't know, just use a cast iron.
Spoken like a real Californian. Just use a grill.
Yeah.
Just get out there and grill.
Hell yeah.
It's like
nice out.
in video games there's a term called noob trap, which is something that something that somebody new to the game thinks is like the best thing to use or
okay.
whatever, but it turns out that it's like mediocre or whatever. Grill pan is like the ultimate noob trap for me.
All right. Well, they were cooking on it, and Val wrote it in her notes, so I had to get to the bottom of that. Okay, the blue team is sort of blanket freaked out by the fact that the mussels are alive. The edit focuses on Trinity and Adam, and part of me wants to give them both the point for being freaked out, or losing the point for being freaked out. And then what happens like mere seconds later is Trinity has her own like special shot where she's like clearly freaked out. She's like, I am so grossed out. And so I'm like, to me, it should just go to Trinity.
Okay.
I'm happy to absorb that into her general grossed out point.
Yeah. She's already been grossed out. She's already lost half point, but that's how I'm going to rule that.
Sounds good.
I also did not know that trick with the mussels where you tap it and they should shut, and that's how you know they're alive.
Yeah,
Wow.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah. Look, the educational component's working.
Yeah, learned a lot.
I'm learning.
So you're supposed to do that before you eat them.
Just to make sure you're getting fresh
right.
ones.
No.
In case it's like spoiled.
Okay, we don't have to go through everyone, but here are the hits to me, and we can call out others if you think of anything. Corinne, we have to talk about because she cuts herself, so that is a half point right there. She reacted so predictably for a reality star on a How Bad Are You cooking show, which is like freaking out, asking the medic, do I need a stitch? And the medic going, no.
So funny. I mean, yeah, she was like, to the bone.
And Antonia being
the
like, the
bone.
cut's this big.
Yeah. Funny. And it was also like funny. She was like, you're trying to cut like the garlic full,
Yeah.
What is it?
A bulb?
Head.
Yeah.
Bulb. Like into that when it's like, oh, you could just break it off or whatever.
Like
I
a
don't know.
normal,
Yeah. So she was like scared to cut garlic later, but it's like honestly, not the worst one to cut.
Yeah, okay, she was scared to cut garlic, so she trades with, I think, Wes. It's somewhere in my notes.
Right, and she cut something else. Ginger.
And I'm like, that's the harder job.
Sure,
Have you ever tried
peeling,
to peel ginger?
Yeah,
It
yeah.
takes forever.
Yeah.
Supposed to use like a spoon or something.
Yeah, exactly, to get around
yeah.
all those little knobby little branches.
Yeah. Too much.
I was like, I'll take garlic all day. Are you kidding me?
I know.
She's traumatized.
Plus, you really don't need to use a knife for garlic, really. I don't.
I think it depends
Depends.
on the usage.
Yeah.
I think if you want it like
Dice.
consumable, yeah, exactly. Like fine enough that you're gonna eat it.
Yeah.
You gotta peel it. But if you're just throwing it in there for flavor and then straining it back out, toss it in.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, I just mean like, I usually peel with my hands.
Yeah, I just
Oh wait,
smash
wait,
it.
were you talking garlic?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I was thinking of the ginger.
Oh. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah,
Many possibilities.
I feel like every third TikTok is like a hack for how to peel garlic. There's
Yeah.
like 10,000 ways to do it now. You know.
Sure.
Anyway, I just saw one that was you can throw it in the microwave and it just kind of falls apart.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I can no longer watch TikTok. I upgraded my phone and forgot about the TikTok ban.
Oh, that's
Oh,
okay.
And
so
then
you're
when I-
locked out
For the
now.
best.
Yeah, so when I tried to, have it restored, it was like, yeah, buddy.
You can't
Oh
do it.
no.
I deleted mine before the around the holidays because I was like on it too much, and then I never re-downloaded.
Yeah.
It's a better life.
And the government thought you were on it too much, too.
Oh yeah, that's why.
You're gonna
But,
like cure cancer now
Well,
with all
get
the
this.
free time
I
you
downloaded
have.
something called Clapper.
What
Which
is
is
Clapper?
Which is like Red Note was like #1 alternative, but Clapper I think is #2. It's
Okay.
another TikTok thing that's very strange. It's like older demographic.
Oh,
Like I feel like maybe it's just who I'm getting, but it feels like older demographic, like
how old?
like
Like our age?
40s?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
well maybe it's like older 30s,
Sure.
or old looking 20s. I don't know, but yeah, it's not good. It's not great, but
But you're having a good time.
it's like a little slice of America.
Okay, I love that.
Yeah, Clapper.
Clapper.
I think I have 37 followers on Clapper.
Is there
That's
no, is there
80% of all the users on
Yeah,
Clapper.
that is
Really
the
collecting my Clapper
CEO
fans.
and everyone else.
And hey, now there's going to be a few more people, I bet, after they listen to this.
I'm still kind of hanging on to Twitter, and I don't know why. In the last 48 hours, I've been like, I think I'm just gonna delete it now because here's what I like is when like the fires happened, Or like if there's a news thing, I can go to Twitter first and it'll have it before any news outlet does.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's not. It became way less fun as soon as Elon took over.
Oh yeah.
I haven't tweeted since like I don't know, like the strikes. Like
Yeah, I was talking about this on another podcast today where I was like, before Elon, I'd say Twitter was like 20% bad, 80% it was like fine with making space. Elon took over, it became like 70-30, 60-40, 50-50, and now because I still have mine too, but I just go on and look, and it is definitely like 90% bad, 10% good.
Yeah.
So I'll just go and see, something good, and then see like a bunch of bad, and I'm like, all right, that's enough for today.
Yeah. It used to be that I could just, even for 5 minutes a day as I'm pooping or whatever, just like open it and scroll through and get a couple jokes.
Yeah.
And that would be nice. And now it's
Those days
just
are
this
over.
little,
No, I'll still like, lurk on it, but I even for like the fires, I felt like it was like, well, the information I'm getting is like weird, misinformation and like political shit. It's like you can't even get good information more. Though it used to be great for that or earthquakes and stuff, right?
Right,
but like,
right.
Yeah, now I'm like it's so muddied. I don't even know if it's useful for that.
Yeah. Here in LA, it was a lot of just like, I don't know if that was an earthquake or if like a truck drove by. And if you go on Twitter and everyone said earthquake, I'm like, okay, now I know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I guess I'm gonna delete it now. I just decided in this moment. I'm deleting it as soon as we're done recording. Cheryl mentioned her. Okay, she said this thing that we didn't get visual confirmation on. She was like fresh chorizo with 2 F's, and here's what I think happened is that's what the label on the food said. Like the PA accidentally misprinted the label and it had 2 F's.
Oh, okay.
But the show didn't want to be like, oh, oops, our PA messed up. So they never showed a close-up or an insert of it. Because I'm like, that joke doesn't make any sense out of
I didn't catch
context.
Yeah, fresh chorizo with 2 F.
I was like, I can't think of any other joke that works in that way other than if the label just had 2 F's.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I guess that's... Yeah, poor Cheryl.
Yeah, little production oopsie.
There.
They really, really did. We're also gonna dock her a half point because she was freaked out by the notion of peeling the chorizo. So that's being freaked out by an ingredient. Frankie also grossed out by chorizo, so that's also mine as a half point there. At some point, Jeff throws down Frankie Grande's burnt bread. It touches the floor, but that not by Frankie's hand. So I'm not gonna, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Frankie didn't drop it.
Yeah.
Right.
It was comically thrown down by a judge, so that's no points for me. Rachel, before I talk about points with Rachel, can we talk about her tiny green mustache? Did that bother anyone else?
So was that originally full and then it kind of got shrunk by the end, or like?
That's what I couldn't figure out.
Yeah.
Or was it from her eyes?
Because okay. Because I kind of get the look. I get the like poison ivy inspired
right.
look.
Yeah.
Okay, it was full. Okay, this is what it was. I think it was full lips, lipstick, and then she's
full
licking her
lips.
lips, and then it kind of
Turned
totally
into
stayed
just
above
the
lip.
tiny
That's what it
little.
was. Because I remember seeing that and thinking, oh yeah, poison ivy, and then I like kind of forgot, and then it was just like essence of.
Oh, okay.
green.
Just like the top portion of like lip liner.
Yeah. So like if you.
I thought it
you
was
eat
tiny.
something
It only occurred to me when my brain registered as tiny mustache, and I was like, why not go full mustache? Go full drag and have it curl up onto your cheeks.
Yeah,
you know what I
villains.
mean?
What are you
Yeah.
afraid of? And
Yeah,
it seems
exactly.
Like it's nothing. It was just
lipstick.
It was
much
lipstick.
licking.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks for clearing that up for me.
Hey, figured it out on the fly.
Rachel got really excited by the mushrooms, but she did drop one, so that's a half point. Antonia tells her not to cook with truffle oil and calls her the queen of interesting combinations, which is the kindest way to put a woman who made chocolate turkey lasagna
Oh, no. Don't
a
remind
mere
me.
7 days ago.
Yeah, I feel like that's a title you can also give to Christian from our Bake Off.
Oh,
episodes.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Flavors.
Lots of
yeah.
interesting combinations there that the judges didn't like,
Didn't like. Yeah, no.
Repeatedly.
but kept trying it for some reason.
Adam Rapon, I wrote down, had this line where he was like, to me, wine and beer are kind of the same thing. And I was like, what?
Hey, he probably couldn't drink for so long as he had to be an athlete.
I guess
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
true,
yeah.
but they're
Like-
so wildly different.
he
Yeah,
just hasn't had a
flavor
chance to.
wise too. Yeah,
Could not be more opposite.
Yeah, I know.
People literally define themselves as either a wine person or a beer person.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's just straight to the hard liquor, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he talks about liking beer because he uses stout in his little muscles, and 2 bottles of stout, in fact. And somehow at the end of this challenge, he had not enough liquid in his pot. So he added more beer in stock. Unclear if that was additional beer on top of the 2 stouts or if it was like 2 stouts total.
Oh man.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he just forgot to add it at some point,
Yeah.
and then like maybe it was already in there, soaked in or something.
Yeah.
Or he threw it down the drain, and then it's just added it too late, so it didn't like boil off the,
Right,
the
right.
stuff. But
Yeah. In any case, the end effect was at the end they said that his broth was bitter and that he had the messiest apron. I also want to point out he called his dish porky mussels and Adam's hero juice, which is
Yuck.
wow.
Absolutely not.
Hero juice. That is wow. Trademark it.
Wes, I want to talk about because he made a very predictably Irish dish. I have so little tolerance for someone who keeps hitting the same joke and trying to make it work. you
Yeah.
know?
Sure.
It's
Or
'cause-
like,
Yeah, it's his,
I think it's like people who, this is one of my like minor pet peeves. People who like, and I'm not accusing Wes of this, but this is what it's looking like. People who like, in lieu of a personality, kind of glom onto just one thing and they make that their identity.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like this happens a lot in college because like you're a kid and then you come to college and you meet other people and you're like, oh no, I don't have an identity yet,
Yeah.
but I can be the guy who does backflips. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Suit guy. Always wears a
Yeah,
to class.
suit guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Backflips. Oh no.
There was one guy on my campus who was barefoot every day, like would walk to and from class, like the newspaper interview, and they're like, "Why do you?" He was like a philosophy major, which is
Yeah.
not surprising. You know what I mean?
Grounding.
And he's like,
We had a
"No."
barefoot guy too.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
goodness.
Every college campus has got a barefoot guy.
Yeah.
That is great.
So I feel like Wes's thing is like, I'm Irish, I have red hair, and I'm like, okay, what else?
Yeah.
You know?
Sure.
Let's dig a little deeper. I'm sure he's got something going on.
Oh, he definitely. but
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
Not,
he
he's
could-
not tapping in.
I also want to point out that his Irish dish was bad, and Antonia spat it out.
Oh no, right, because of the garlic.
Burnt garlic.
Oh, yeah, I
Acrid
guess that
burnt
is not
garlic.
good. Yeah, I thought it was gonna be like raw or something, so at least that's better. Than
Yeah, better than raw, but I, in retrospect, I should have made a point value for spitting food out.
Yeah.
Because that will certainly happen again this season.
Oh yeah.
Sebastian dropped a pepper on the ground. That's a half point. And at the last second, he added, quote, mint to his mussels because he thought it needed mint. And then Jeff goes, this is not mint.
Oh my god.
Perfect.
Oh, my God.
No
Lime
notes.
leaf?
Lime
Is that what
leaf,
it was?
yeah.
Yeah,
Which
that's
is great,
pretty
but
intense.
not in that context.
Different.
Okay, and I want to talk about Cheryl because when we did the draft, I drafted her because I'm like, she's Filipino, she knows how to cook,
Oh,
and
yeah.
at some point during this challenge, she said, I don't know how to cook because my mom, who's the Filipino one, I looked it up, never taught me, and I was like, fuck.
Confirmed.
Yeah. The one thing you're hanging on.
That was
is
the
like,
whole
that did not
reason, and
happen.
I'm like, I am boned. But Cheryl does win this challenge on the hero side, and on the villain side, Rachel wins this challenge. So that is 1 point apiece, which brings us to the main dish challenge, 60 minutes to recreate sweet and sour pork with a veggie side of your choice. Most people picked peppers. It was very boring.
Yeah. They're like, we know one thing is easy, and that's peppers.
Yeah, exactly. I do want to point out both Corinne and Bartiz went with pears, which I wouldn't have done in a million years. And it wasn't even bad.
Yeah.
When they were judging Corinne's, they were like, it actually needed more pears.
Yeah.
But I just,
Yeah, shocking. I have
such
no
a
idea
left
what
field
that
thing.
is.
Well, because I feel like
yeah.
pork often pairs with sweetness, so I
yeah,
can see
pork and
their-
apples, sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so they're like, we'll do something different. We'll do pears. I like a pear.
Yeah.
I guess Antonia put in lychee in her
That's
thing,
true.
Which is kind of fruit like.
Yeah. You're right.
That was
You're
kinda
right.
weird.
I think what lets lychee fly to me is that I think of sweet and sour pork as an Asian dish, and
Yeah.
lychee is an Asian fruit.
Yeah.
True, yeah. But then it's like, ooh, I've never heard of that either. Is that thing?
Yeah,
I
no.
don't know.
I know
Yeah.
what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I was
also
like,
have
oh,
it.
lychee in the hot thing?
In the hot?
pan?
Yeah.
You want lychee cold.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, we don't have to talk about everyone, but here are the highlights to me. Corinne talked about putting foil in the microwave and it caught fire one time.
She's killing
That's just, it's just
it.
funny to me.
Gotta love it.
Okay. Trinity grossed out by ketchup in sweet and sour sauce. That's another grossed out by an ingredient.
Though
but-
I was like, oh yeah, I didn't even realize ketchup's in there.
Yeah.
That is like, I guess that makes total sense, but you're kind of like, whoa, that is weird when you find out like such a important ingredient is like, oh yeah, I
just
guess
a
they're the same,
manufactured
but-
product.
Yeah, yeah.
Same with pad thai. Like you can make a pad thai recipe
Oh,
without
sure.
ketchup, but it's way easier with ketchup.
Yeah, a lot of things do require ketchup. That's true.
Yeah. And then at this point in my notes, I wrote, I feel like Trinity's going to keep losing a half point in every episode just for the condiments alone.
Yeah, I mean, can't avoid it at this
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
I'm surrendering to that.
Bartiz was taught how to use a mandolin, and anytime someone's using a mandolin for the first time, my butthole just tightens up. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
he's going to cut himself.
Yeah.
And he didn't somehow,
Yes.
but it's like, when you're watching a movie and someone's driving, but they're distracted, and I'm like,
Yeah.
Right.
I don't
When's
know how
the-
long the scene's going to be, but
Yeah.
they're gonna hit something.
Yeah, they're
Oh,
going to
yeah.
get T-boned in the intersection.
Yeah, exactly. They're having a nice conversation.
Yeah, they're gonna get crunched.
But yeah, this is the inciting incident.
Yeah.
I know how movies work. Bartiz also mentioned that he hates green things, but still put jalapeno in his dish.
Yeah, what does that mean? Grow up. You
Grow
know?
up,
Yeah,
dude.
there's a lot of
If
things.
You don't like green things?
Yeah.
What
What are
are
you,
you-
7?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
You want ketchup with your chicken nuggies? Get out of here.
Yeah.
All right.
It's kind of basically what they bake here.
Yeah.
Ketchup.
Tiffany did not read her recipe and accidentally put cornstarch in with her aromatics.
Oh my god.
But she just had to keep pushing forward.
Yeah.
She opened another can with her mouth
Oh my god.
and almost deep fried her nails.
That was so funny.
Jeez.
The nails, they finally came into play.
Nail
Love that.
tempura, as she put it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that would. It's such a high temperature, it would be like, it was funny. She's like, you probably can't feel them, right? It's like, yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
So yeah, it would definitely like shrivel up or
Yeah.
bubble up. Who knows? Plastic in the hot oil, not always
Yeah.
good.
Not
a
great.
good plan.
Not great. Rachel mispronounced edamame. She said edamame and edamame, so that's mine as a half point.
Yeah, what are you doing?
She gains it right back because she dropped that edamame on the ground,
Oh,
so
right, she, like,
that's
knocked it all over.
yeah, sort of net zeros herself there.
Okay, good stuff.
Antonia told her that peas were banned. She put peas in her dish, and I also wrote that I feel like she like hired a copywriter. She called this evil edamame. Sweet snappy peas, malicious mango, and then in the previous challenge she called it fiendish fare. I'm like, she loves alliteration.
Oh yeah.
She loves like a clever name for her dishes.
Yeah.
She's really leaning into like, oh, I'm a villain. I'm gonna make everything like an evil version.
Oh, 100%. She probably has like a, Mad Libs book in her pocket to just whip out whenever it's time to come up with a
Ooh,
name
Yeah,
for
yeah,
something.
yeah.
Thesaurus.
Yeah, she has a bowl full of slips of paper that each have like
Yeah.
a villainous like adjective or adverb
Yeah.
on it.
Ooh, yeah.
Okay, quickly let's talk about Sebastian. Val in her notes wrote Sebastian's presence is like a rodeo clown. But then wrote love him, so I think it's like
Accurate.
complimentary.
Yeah. Well, the accuracy there is just unbeatable. Yeah.
Yeah, he's such a deeply unserious, and not even by his own admission. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, like I could believe this is just his authentic self.
Yeah, exactly.
And that voice is a lot of fun, and he's like always,
Yeah,
bringing
I'll
it
say
out.
he can still sing the shit at
Yeah.
anything.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds great. Not great at cooking.
Yeah.
He tried to season the fryer oil. I did catch that he said flyer instead of fryer. I'll subtract a half point there, sure.
Flyer, okay.
And then I also just wanted to note that his final dish, much like last week, at the last second, he just dumped a bed of sesame seeds on it. It was like a half-inch layer of sesame seeds.
That was funny. Yeah, and they didn't even really address
They
it.
didn't address it.
Yeah.
But it was like piled on top.
How do you not talk about that?
I feel like he's going off of this philosophy. You know how in the fashion they're always like take one thing off. Like he's always like just add
Add
one
one more thing?
Yeah, one more thing.
Oh
That's
my
a go.
God.
Mint, sesame seeds.
Right. Yeah, even if you don't know what it is.
Yeah, just add it. Just add it. It'll be what you're missing.
Adam undercooked his pork, but Adam, okay, I want to bring this up for points reasons. Adam undercooked his pork, but he put the same pork back in, so I'm not counting that as restarting. He did not do a new batch of pork. He just continued cooking it. Val in her notes called it several different shades of undercooked. And the last person I want to talk about is Cheryl again, because they called her rice undercooked, and I was like, you're Filipino, goddammit.
I know.
If there's one thing you should get right on the plate, it's the rice.
Yeah, didn't
Blame the mother.
Yeah,
Mom didn't teach her.
yeah.
She also had hair in her bowl.
Oh no, yeah,
Jeez.
tough.
It was bad all around. So the winners for this challenge on the villain side was Wes, and on the heroes it was Adam. They get a point and a half apiece. On the bottom are Cheryl and Tiffany. As soon as those two were on the bottom, I'm like, I don't feel good about this.
Yeah.
I think Tiffany could take Cheryl in the kitchen any day.
Yeah.
It was another blind elimination cook-off. Make a sweet and spicy appetizer in 10 minutes. Part of me was like, Cheryl's been on the bottom before. She should have this,
Oh,
right?
sure. Yeah.
And then they revealed their dishes, which is Cheryl was doing chorizo crostini. So again, just bread and sausage on top.
Yeah. What she learned.
And Tiffany said, I'm making a spicy Thai chicken skewer on a bed of arugula. And I was like, fuck. Once again, I am boned.
Yeah, you could tell, like, especially because the first one is like what they kind of did today. So like Cheryl's really
Yes.
picking from what she knows,
Yeah.
which is just what
Yeah.
she's learned on the show, and Tiffany like knows some flavors. you know?
Yeah.
And Tiffany is going to sur la table between shoots
Oh,
and
wow.
getting some like extra help.
Yeah.
So there was a little bit of drama with whether or not Tiffany's chicken is cooked, but I mean, come on. We all know she had it in the bag.
Yeah.
Cheryl soaked her bread in oil. They were like, it's a little soggy. I'm like, I have eyeballs. I can see it.
She was like, I think this is too much oil.
Yeah,
And it's like
yeah.
dripping.
Yeah, anyone with eyes, no, that's too much. And you still.
But hey,
So Tiffany lives to see another day. Cheryl goes home. But Cheryl does get $2,500 for her charity of choice, which is Better You, which I looked up is short for Better Universe. It is Better You, not Better You.
could be both.
Could have been both,
A little bit
but I
of
had
a
to know.
entendre.
So anyway, my first round pick is gone.
Oh,
Don't feel good about the rest of the season. Here's our points breakdown
great.
for this week. As a reminder, you can find our rules on our Instagram at TV Chef Fantasy League. This week, the team/relay challenge is won by the heroes. They get a half point each. The skill drill went to Rachel and Cheryl. They get 1 point apiece. The main dish challenge was won by Wes and Adam. That's a 1.5 each. The following people drop something on the ground: Adam, Sebastian, Cheryl, and Rachel, so they each get a half point. Corinne cut herself. That's a half point. The following people were freaked out by an ingredient: Trinity, Cheryl, and Frankie. They lose a half point. And on the mispronunciation count, both Rachel and Sebastian lose a half point for mispronouncing
Yeah,
something.
that's just always going to be from Sebastian. That's all. You might as well just have that half point ready to go.
yeah. Get the Trinity
That-
grossed out.
exactly.
And Sebastian mispronounced.
Yeah, just locked in. It's up there by default every week. Which means at the end of this week, I gain 3.5 points. Sierra, you gain 3.5 points. If you gain a half point,
Oh,
0.5.
Yeah, wow.
Tiffany and Bartiz did not deliver any points for you this week.
Yeah.
And Sebastian kind of evened himself out.
Yes.
Up and a down there.
oh yeah.
And Cheryl gave me a 1.5 on her way out the door,
Yeah.
which is great.
She won the challenge.
But now I'm one player down.
Yeah.
So
But at least she can't keep mispronouncing
It's
and
true,
and
yeah.
getting grossed out by things.
our leaderboard as it stands right now, I'm in the lead, 5.5.
All right.
Sierra, you're in the middle with 2.5. Iffy, you're in last with 2.
Yeah.
It's close.
Yeah. Between me and Sierra, I mean, with you have 5.
But again, I'm down by one player.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's just less opportunity for me to score points now. So
Sure.
I feel like my lead is going to drop immediately.
We'll see who goes out next.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. Folks, if you like this podcast, please tell your friends, rate and review us. You can also go to MaximumFun.org/join, where you can support us directly for as little as $5 a month. It means the world to us. Thank you so much. If you have any thoughts or suggestions, drop us a line on Instagram at TV Chef Fantasy League, or send us an email at chef@MaximumFun.org. Tag us if you're doing your own Worst Cooks in America League. No one has so far.
Yeah.
Why aren't you?
For full unedited episodes, you can check us out on YouTube. Thank you again to my co-host Sierra Kato and Iffy Wadiwe. We'll be back next week. TV Chef Fantasy League is a Maximum Fun production. Our producer is Valerie Moffat. Our theme song is by Dylan Van Auken. Our artwork is by Sabrina Vellante. Follow us on Instagram and YouTube at TV Chef Fantasy League.